To the $43,000 first prize money earns a special bonus of a 3-year invitation to another great event, the Firestone Tournament of Champions. The starting field of 480 bowlers consists of the world's best amateurs and professionals, as witnessed by the high scores registered during the week. ESPN presents the finals of the $235,000 ABC Bud Light Masters Championship. And now let's preview this afternoon's top 5. Qualifying in the 5th position from Van Nuys, California, the winner of this year's PBA National Championship, Eric Forkel. Starting in the 4th slot from Aberdeen, Maryland, the bowler who throws the biggest hook on today's telecast, Mark Bowers. And in the number 3 position from Fort Worth, Texas, looking for his first major victory in bowling, Billy Cathey. In the runner-up position from Dallas, Texas, bowling in his first ABC Masters tournament, Ken Johnson. Our tournament leader from Cleveland, Ohio, who bowled just 1 game for his first victory in the ABC Bud Light Masters Championship, David D'Entremont. City by the Bay, Corpus Christi, Texas. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Durbin. And working with me this afternoon is a 2-time ABC Masters champion. He's a PBA and ABC Hall of Famer, the great Earl Anthony. Hi, Earl.
Nice to be here with you.
Earl, you've won this tournament twice already. What makes the ABC Masters tournament so very special?
Special is the key word for this particular event, and I think it's the tradition that goes back clear back to 1951 when the first tournament was held up, I think, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the great champions that have carried that tradition forward, people like Don Carter and Billy Golombieski, Billy Whaley, the great champions of the past. The tradition that's built up over time has created a different kind of pressure to be part of that tradition by winning this particular event, much more so than a lot of other major tournaments that are scheduled throughout the year. The ABC Masters Championship is something that you can cling to for the rest of your life and say, hey, I won one of the big ones.
Our telecast this afternoon doesn't exactly have household names. Why is that?
Well, I think, again, that's the format. It's a double elimination event. You're bowling 3 games on 1 pair of lanes. If you lose the match, you go in the loser's bracket. You lose again, you're out of the tournament. So the key is to be able to maintain your concentration for that 3 games, make the adjustments as the lanes change, win that match, and continue on. There's a lot of pressure involved in this particular event, and that's what causes that kind of pressure, that particular format of double elimination, and you're out of the tournament.
Got a favorite?
I got to go with the leader. D'Entremont's bowling extremely well. I think he's going to hang on and win it.
Okay, Earl picks the leader. It should be a very interesting and exciting afternoon of bowling. In our opening match, we have PBA National Championship Eric Forkel taking on Mark Bowers from Aberdeen, Maryland. He is in lanes 31 and 32 here at the Convention Center in Corpus Christi, Texas. Mark Bowers getting up on lane 31 for his opening shot. Well out on the lane.
And that's a nice way to start, Mike. Put the force out, the 10 out, get the corners out. As you mentioned, Bauer really hooks the ball a lot. And if you watch his ball closely, as it comes back to the pocket, it tends to what you almost say stopped, a rollout shot. And that's a hard carrying bowling ball. Carries a lot of strikes.
Forkel, the only left-hander on today's telecast. It's a good break there, no split.
Yeah, and, you know, it's kind of interesting. He's using a 15-pound bowling ball, and as we talked earlier, Mike, you and I, the advantage there is that the ball doesn't overhit, and he's playing an extreme outside angle. He's right near the 2 or 3 board, near the channel, and with that much angle, the 15-pounder isn't going to hurt him as far as carry, but it will give him a little deflection, so he might even carry better.
Did you ever try that during your career?
I've used it a few times. I didn't throw enough ball to use a 15-pounder. I used all the advantage I could, 16.
Eric has no trouble with the 10-pin. Moves over to the left lane.
Spare shooting this week has not been difficult. There's a lot of oil on the lanes. It's a synthetic surface. It's pretty obvious. And as the players go cross lane with as much oil as there is on the lane, they go pretty direct at the corner pin. So you won't see very many corner pins missed. You may see trouble with the washout or something of that nature, which is a difficult spare when that much oil in the middle of the lane. 39 feet. They went with the oil from the foul line. The back ends are fairly dry, so you see the ball hooking very hard on the back.
So a lot of skid and a lot of hook at the back end.
Exactly, which means you have to be very consistent with your speed control. You get a little soft with it, and that was a very firm shot by Eric Forkel. And if you get a little soft with the ball, it tends to jump, and you're just going to get the big four or some very, very unusual leaves. You can see some spares left that you see very seldom.
Mark Bauer was asking for a re-rack on the right lane. You only allow one per game. I guess he's not taking it. Here it comes. Pretty sharp.
It is. It's fun to watch. I could never do that. Mike, I don't think you hooked it.
No. Only my dreams did I hook it like that.
But it's fun to watch. It's the game has changed a lot, and here's a good look at that style, and here's a great shot from the front. Now watch the wrist rotation, the good extension, and great loft. Not great balance, but he gets the job done. He's a very strong individual physically, and he can actually overpower the lane with his strength.
And you can actually see that ball almost stop a little bit as it did kind of roll out right at the 1-3. 10-pin lead. Tickling 7-10 there, Earl.
And that's, as you can see, Mark is very upset, Mark Bauer, and I don't blame him. That's a bad break. The ball, as you mentioned, Mike, did roll out, and that's the reason he got that kind of pin carry. If it had been a quarter of an inch higher, he would have carried the strike.
What's he going to do here? Just
he'll throw it hard. He'll throw it hard at the 10-pin, try to bounce it off the pin.
Well, it's been done, 3 times on PBA telecast, but not here. Eric Forkel's 32 years of age. He's single. No matter how he does in this event, he's going to take over the PBA money lead. He held it most of the winter. Kind of really come into his own this year.
He has, and we talked to him earlier, and he's kind of explained that, and we'll get into that later. But right now, you can see all the players on the telecast, he has the best balance in the foul line. I feel that's very important for consistency. Getting the foul line with good balance so you can make the same shot time after time. And here's a good look at it. Now watch from the side. See the good free, loose arm swing. Now look at the balance at the foul line. The good extension, good follow through.
Now why is that balance so important, Earl?
Balance for consistency. And if bowling is anything, it's a game of consistency. Being able to repeat the shot time after time the same way. Once you've decided how you want the ball to react and where you want to play in the lanes, it's very important to be able to repeat the shot. And balance is the only way you can do that, having good balance.
He's kind of a throwback to the old styles, isn't he?
The old, yeah, guys like you and me, that's how we played. We system of balance. He tries to keep the ball in play and minimize the errors, whereas a bowler like Mark Bauer, he'll get up there and maybe get an open or two, but he can also string 8 or 9 strikes in a row.
And Eric did what all good bowlers do. His opponent gave him an opening, and he jumped on it with 2 strikes to take a 24-pin lead.
They have to readjust their mentality at this point. The game all week long was bowl 3 games on a pair, total pins, win the match, and advance. Now it's a 1-game situation. That can almost make you panic a little bit. 1 game and you're out of it.
Well, Mark Bowers didn't panic on that shot. He came right back after that open and threw a strike, and so far we've got 8 shots, and 6 of them are strikes. Just 1 bad break there with that pocket 7-10 for Mark Bowers in the 3rd frame. He can bite into that 24-pin lead here with a double, cut it down to 14. With a slow, but it fell. We'll be back with the rest of this match. Right now, Eric Forkel is leading by 14 pins. Don't go away. And there you see the scoreboard. Eric Forkel working on 3 in a row, leading by 14. Mark Bowers has put a little pressure on him right now. We'll see what he does. Very meticulous in how he sets up. What a great break. break. That was right through the heart. The 4-6 was there, and a pin came off the wall to get that 4-pin out of there.
And I think really, Mike, what we mentioned earlier about the 15-pound ball, this is what a 15-pound ball will do for you. It'll rattle around on the pins a little bit, give you a little more of the break. He might leave, to say, example, once in a while, a flat 10, or not get the 5-pin to hit the 10-pin coming off the wall or anything like that. Give up a little bit of that, but you do get some breaks in the high hits with the lighter ball.
Would there be a good tip or advice for people that say get past 50?
That's not very nice, Mike.
Well, I'm past 50, Earl.
I think we'll agree, both of us, that you should use the heaviest ball that you're comfortable bowling with, not to the point where it's overtiring, but obviously the heavier the ball is, the more chance you have of carrying the strikes. When the pins weigh 3.5 pounds each and you're using a light ball, you're going to get more deflection.
Smooth shot right into 1-2. Eric looks good.
He's had the break. Mark Bauer had the bad break on the wall shot 7-10. Eric had the one right through the nose and got away with it. Mark Bauer in a position to take the lead here with a couple of strikes.
Yeah, kind of two important shots coming up for him right now, isn't it?
Very definitely. Again, it's a one-game match, and they've been bowling all week 3-game matches.
Just for the 4-pin. I thought he was going to go right through the heart of the pins with that, and it just kind of seemed to hold right into the 1-3. No, he leaves the 4-pin.
And that's, I think, Mike, all that oil in the middle lane we talked about. They've oiled 39 feet. Here's a good look at his release as he comes up on the ball. See him straighten out his left leg, and he's sideways at the foul line, and watch the ball cut through the pins. Now, the lighter ball, the 15-pounder, might have tripped that for him, whereas the 16 cuts through the pin.
After 7 frames, 14 pins the difference. 3 frames to go. Mr. Powers has got to get some strikes going. There's the scoreboard. Tells the story.
I think we're going to have good scores. We've had good scores all week. I expect both these players to throw a few more strikes before it's over. It should come down to the 9th and 10th frame most every match. It's been very competitive all week. Big scores. Most of the players averaged 220 or better. Those are big scores. When you can average over 220 in this kind of competition under this kind of pressure, you're bowling very well.
Everybody seems to be having no trouble throwing it into the pocket right now. Eric said that he felt that he might be destined in this tournament. He just barely snuck into the first cut to the top 120, and then barely snuck into the top 63, and then had to win his last game to get to the top 5.
Sometimes it works that way.
Got that 7-pin out of there. We talked about why he's been bowling so much better this year, and earlier Earl had a chance to ask him why.
Well, I believe the biggest reason why I've been bowling so much better this year is my mental game has improved tremendously, and I did make a few changes with my physical game by holding the ball a little lower, and that seemed to loosen up my arm swing. But basically the whole thing is just a stronger mental attitude and just making much better shots than I did in the past.
That mental attitude really is confidence, isn't it, Earl?
It is. They seem to go hand in hand. If you have confidence in your delivery, you're going to make better shots, and that builds on your confidence. So they go hand in hand. And you can see he has tremendous amount of confidence. He's been successful this year, and that is built on his mental image of himself as an individual. It's made him a stronger player.
It's just written all over his body English, isn't it?
It is.
He's really put it to Mr. Bowers.
The difference I see in his game, as opposed to previous years, is his ability to be more aggressive now. Before he was cautious, he was tentative. Now he's much more aggressive.
And I was talking to the players earlier saying, were there a lot of hard 10s during the week? And they said, no, hardly any. You know, when you hit the pocket you were striking, he leaves one in a most inopportune time right there.
That was probably the most important shot of the tournament for him right there. A key shot, building that foundation going into the 9th and 10th frames. Now he's in a position where he must strike out in the 9th and 10th to put any pressure at all.
Well, the best he can get right now is 225. Eric cruising at a 239 pace right now. So when your opponent has to open and you strike out, I never liked that position.
That's not a very good position to be in, that's for sure. Again, Eric has so much confidence. Forkel is bowling with extreme confidence. He's very aggressive, and I don't expect him to make any mental errors. He might have to make some adjustments as time goes on. That could get him in trouble. But
well, Mark made two good shots there in the 8th and 9th in the pocket both times, the 10 and the 4, and that's the name of the game of bowling.